if this manufacturing company manufactured SARMs for this business owner and then did the ashwagandha for the second owner, even though he cleaned the machines, it could still get contaminated. Thus, I think that is what has happened. What is up, everyone? It's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Today's ASMR sip is some satanic Starbucks. There's your ASMR sip of some cold brew. Intelligent Neon is the ASMR spritz. Check out the summer fragrance as I miscapping it. Look like a dork. All right. I just wanted to give a big shout out to the MMA channel Jamari. Sincerely appreciate the shout out. I am drawn into the Ryan Garcia scandal. So Ryan Garcia boxed Devin Haney, and there is a circulating, after the fight obviously, WADA drug test of Ostarine, as well as a DECA metabolite, which your body produces an itty bitty amount of DECA, but the Ostarine drama is what drew my channel into this. So I appreciate everyone from Jamari jumping over to my channel. Please subscribe with the bell on, click the thumbs up, and browse the channel. Watch my channel during cardio at 2x speed, and you will become a biohacking lab rat over the course of engulfing this channel. I wanted to just preface to my regular followers what this is about. So Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney, this was a very touted boxing fight, and you know, in boxing, you actually never get to see the actual people you want to see fight. That's what the UFC is really good at, is matchmaking people and forcing people to fight. But for boxing, when the stars align, it heats up and it becomes this big spectacular thing. And that is what we saw with Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney. Personally, even though I'm with Young LA and Ryan Garcia is with Young LA, and I'm a fan of Ryan Garcia as a social media icon and everything, you know, he shares the same name as me and he lives up to what his name means, in my opinion. I thought Devin Haney was going to win. From a boxing standpoint, I thought Devin Haney was going to win, and you saw Ryan doing all sorts of erratic behavior before this fight to, it looks like, sell the fight. So Ryan was doing the Conor McGregor style, boiling chaos, boiling fire, and hoping for the best. And it seemed to work out great. A couple key things you would note with Garcia's behavior was that he was behaving erratically, and he was definitely on some sort of, you know, manic episode going into this fight. Whether he wants to fully admit that was a character or not, I definitely believe he was leaning in towards that egomania because he was such an underdog in this fight and everyone was counting him out before the fight even happened. And personally, I'm not a betting man, but if I was betting, even before all this, I would still bet Devin Haney, even though it was a no contest almost fight with Ryan Garcia beating his ass. As the fight got closer, Ryan Garcia decides to drink a beer weighing in. So again, this is this thing with Garcia of he's sticking his middle finger to the man of boxing during this. It seems like he was counted out. It seems like they didn't even want to have the fight and give him all the money and shit from what he was saying online, and that he had to fight to have the fight. And then he goes into a fight with a known weight bully. Again, from my wrestling experience, people won't understand what like 3 pounds will do in boxing, but I'll put it in perspective. So I was a wrestler in high school. Everyone knows this. Everyone gets mad I bring it up. I could have been the 138-pound champion. My wrestling partner personally beat my ass for the 145-pound spot. I was 4th in the WPAIL at 152, meaning if I went 138, which I can make 138, I would have been the champ. I beat the champ in that tournament. 145, I got beat. 152, I was getting shoved down, right? In boxing and wrestling, that is why people do crazy shit to cut weight. It is an extreme advantage, and it's really who is holding the strength power in the match at the weight. So Garcia came in heavy, bet $2 million on himself to get a $12 million payout later. And you can see the entire fiasco unfold during the fight of the ref completely being paid off, in my opinion. That's another thing with boxing, is the refs are paid off. It seems like they're giving Devin every chance in the world. Garcia is known for this left hook. The left hook was unstoppable. I thought, in my opinion, again, if I was a betting man, that Haney would figure out a way to deal with the left hook. Garcia's speed was insane. Speed wins fights. If you can maintain speed and frequency of the fighting spirit, you win the fight. You know, that's normally how it goes unless there's a big IQ difference. Overall, Garcia wins. He gets his $12 million payout for coming in overweight. Pretty much stuck a whole middle finger to the collective of boxing, and he made a fight happen that, in my opinion, is probably the biggest upset in modern day boxing. Later, the drug test comes out after the fight. So Garcia was WADA testing the whole time. He was testing clean the whole time. Started heating up the fiasco. Definitely not politically good for boxing the way he's selling this fight, obviously, with some of the things he was saying. I'm not saying he's a hero or a villain for doing what he did. He knew he was conjuring up chaos. That's what he wanted to bring to the ring. It's cool. It worked out in his favor. That being said, everyone doesn't forget that he just stormed in, took the bag, came in overweight to flick off the weight bully, and then no contested him. Like, it was very much a beating. I know Haney's a great boxer. I kind of am disgusted by boxing fans how they're telling Haney to hang up the gloves. I think Garcia, I'll have Andrew bring up when Gervonta Davis beat up Garcia. Garcia learned a lot from that L. I've learned a lot from my L's in training and combat. It's very strange how toxic boxing people are, and the toxicness leaked out after the fight. Obviously, nobody wanted Garcia to win. It seems swayed completely away from Garcia. Everyone was counting him out. The ref was paid off. And now the Ostarine. The Ostarine charges, what do I think of them? He tested for a metabolite of Ostarine. A metabolite is not going to do anything in that fight. In fact, I've made videos on how SARMs make you weaker and how I do not prefer most SARMs besides highly androgenic ones for combat sports. Meaning Ostarine wouldn't be the most effective compound to use in boxing. And this is also a compound that would pop hot. There are compounds, I looked at WADA, that you could get away with. He has tons of money to get a brain that can tell him how to get around those tests. I don't think he was cheating personally. He blames the ashwagandha product. So ashwagandha, again, I'll have Andrew throw up the one he used. It was Gaia supplements. So I know Gaia from the United States. The supplement company is sold in like local supermarkets around here. Personally, for me, it's definitely not like he went out of the way to acquire the ashwagandha. If you wonder why he would be using ashwagandha before a fight like this where $50 million is on the line, you do not want to be spending your central nervous system getting super antsy, all amped up over it. You want to be detached, and that is exactly what ashwagandha does. You know, detaches, lowers your cortisol, makes you feel less, and in certain high enough dosages can cause full-blown adonis. So I definitely see how realistically it would make sense that he would use ash. He used a brand that you can find out of any grocery store. I'm sure if you're into the manufacturing of supplements, you would know that there's not really a way to decontaminate the machines entirely that a little minuscule metabolite wouldn't get caught up in an ashwagandha product. Meaning, if this manufacturing company manufactured SARMs for this business owner and then did the ashwagandha for the second owner, even though he cleaned the machines, it could still get contaminated. Thus, I think that is what has happened. He has officially been cleared because you cannot really attribute a tiny ass metabolite when you have this supplement that is made in the same manufacturing facility as SARMs most likely. I don't think Garcia would use Ostarine to cheat. Do I think Garcia is against PEDs? No. I think Garcia would like PEDs based on his personality. He's displaying a lot of characteristics, you know, neurochemically of maintaining that extreme speed. Neurochemically, how is he going to maintain the speed of that left hook to where Devin Haney can't see it coming? He gets clocked with the hook one time and Devin Haney just kind of like shut off with his game plan. It's that fast. It's that powerful. He obviously needs to maintain that neurochemically. That's like a chi type central nervous system thing where he's perfectly relaxed to throw that right hook that hard. Interfering with the central nervous system right before the fight with something that's less androgenic than dihydrotestosterone, which is normally used, in my opinion, in a clinical setting to maintain muscle while cutting and everything. I don't think it's really used as a performance enhancer in a fight like halotestin or a different SARM RAD140 would be used for, right? I think Ostarine is this weak compound. I don't think Garcia, like his grandmaster fucking plan was to risk using Ostarine before the fight. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't line up. And it showcases the moral of the story is when you conjure up chaos and piss everyone off, especially an organization with that much money, you have the whole show weighted against you. You want this and you're cooking it up, you're gonna try and get burned after with some bullshit metabolite thing to DQ you. It's disgusting, but it is what it is, and I'm glad that he's officially cleared. I don't think Ostarine would be the choice for me personally with MMA. I have tons of MMA fighters come to me every month and they are normally taking RAD140 and a bit of HRT and maybe some ITPP, GW, and or of course EPO. They're not really messing with Ostarine or weaker SARMs. They normally go towards RAD because RAD is almost, if not the same androgenic feeling personally for me as dihydrotestosterone, the closest one, and my muscles don't gas on RAD. Ostarine, my CNS could operate a bit slower, which would slow down my left hook, which is my secret weapon that, well, it's not secret, but it's like the weapon that nobody can figure out how to deal with. It's the same with Alex Pereira. Nobody knows how to deal with these extreme left hooks where if it hits you, it's like so many hard points and you're fucked and you're thinking about, oh, I don't want to get hit by this left hook again. And then everything else comes after that. That's exactly how both of these fighters have been operating and been very successful with this crazy left hook. I think Ostarine would not aid that, in my opinion. Now, if Garcia was technically taking a small amount of Ostarine and still having, dihydrotestosterone as his main androgen, and he was saturating more androgen receptors with Ostarine. Like, it's just helping recovery a little bit more endurance. Personally, when I look at Garcia, he looks like a dude that never touched PEDs personally, right? He has no telltale signs of any synthetic androgens entering the body in hyperinflating high androgen receptor locations, such as the shoulders and traps. Don't see that at all with Garcia. I think, he just got caught up in his own bullshit, but it was a really, really cool thing to see him pull off that upset. I really pulled energy off that. And if Ryan is watching this, like, sincerely good job. And if Haney or anyone from Haney's team's watching this, I don't think you can write it off as a metabolite of Ostarine detected in the system that would help him dominate the fight to that level. The paid ref couldn't even help Haney out. I think the Ostarine would impact the speed of his left hook in a negative way. And if it were me coaching him in PEDs in a non-tested organization, I would be using more androgenic compounds such as halotestin to speed up the left hook even harder, rather than using anabolic compounds such as Ostarine. I would be going towards the high androgenic, leaning in towards his CNS being so hyperfixated on maintaining that speed. I would amplify that. I wouldn't add in anabolic compounds. He's not looking to maintain muscle. He's looking to have speed and power in the fight. And Ostarine is not my first choice. He got a contaminated supplement. The Haney team needs to take this L and make Haney a better fighter, just the way Garcia became a better fighter after Tank fucked him up. That's how martial arts work. It's very weird in boxing, Andrew. It's like they want to maintain this perfect 50-0, never take an L. They take one L and then their money stock goes way down. It shouldn't be like that. Boxing fans should push him back up. Mike Tyson has 6 losses, right? He's the only one who would go in there bang, bang, bang. We had a very good treat seeing Haney and Garcia fight. It took forever to make that fight happen, and I honestly tip my hat to Garcia for jumping into the next fight. He's always picking the toughest dudes. That's a real man. I will see you guys in my next video.